Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing a video sort of giving my thoughts on the first season of Fear the Walking Dead so far, up to the finale, but not including. And this is going to kind of be like a discussion topic, viewer response from a lot of the different comments that I've been seeing. It sounds like many viewers are really at this point just very disappointed with Fear the Walking Dead. Okay, so I'll keep this one fairly quick for today. We'll focus on just this because I'm kind of strapped for time. But yeah, here is the question. Well, there's a couple things I want to point out. Some people asked my thoughts on the Forbes list, which is a 5 big problems with Fear the Walking Dead. I'll put the link in the description. You guys can go ahead and check it out, and I'll give my thoughts on that in a minute. And this question came from Bloody Jacob, and it's a great question. He says, "Hey Trev, Q&A question. How do you feel about the general disappointment most people have for Fear the Walking Dead? I know there are some that are positive about it, but I think it's clear that the majority isn't into it when you look at comments and things like forums online. For me, I'm not someone that craves action and walkers every 2 seconds. The key for me is how interesting and good the characters are. If the characters are good, a slow-paced episode can still be enjoyable. Hence why I really like some of the Walking Dead slower ones. What I'm saying is that I just don't care about any of Fear's characters at all, and would get a kick out of it if they all just ended up being red shirts in Season 6 of The Walking Dead. LOL. Thanks if you are to put this into a Q&A. Well, of course, man. It's a great question. He was one, but I have seen many comments, and he's not exaggerating. I wouldn't say, well, he says the majority. I wouldn't say the majority, though, but a lot of people are not satisfied with Fear the Walking Dead so far. Now, Forbes has their list, so let's go through this real quick. They've got top 5. Number 1, they have, we need to actually see top 5 problems with Fear the Walking Dead. We need to actually see the breakdown of civilization, government, and communities. So that's their number 1. Number 2, the main characters are really boring and stupid. Nice. Which is also like what Bloody Jacob is saying too, that he actually doesn't care for the characters that much. Number 3, there's too much fluff even in a plodding, slow-paced show. Number 4, there's not much fear here, even though they do have a picture of Daniel when he's torturing the U.S. Army guy that's dating his daughter. And then number 5, when The Walking Dead comes back on, the gap between the two shows will be even more apparent. Well, you guys know on the channel, we don't really stop watching it just because it's on. We even do throwbacks and stuff like that. We talk about older episodes. And to be honest, most of my viewers, most of you guys, I know a lot of you guys will go back and watch the marathons, or you'll watch a certain season or a few episodes here and there during the breaks. That's not uncommon for us to do in this community. That's kind of a regular kind of thing that we love to do. Comic books, read those over and that kind of stuff. It's just an amazing series, amazing story. So it's one that has great replay value or reread value or rewatch value. Okay, so first I'll give my thoughts on these top 5, and then we'll get into Blood Jacob's comment. We'll break that down a little bit more. So, as well as others. So, the number 1, that we need to actually see the breakdown of civilization, government, and communities. I have a theory about Fear, and the theory is this. I think AMC, Greg Nicotero is mainly their zombie guy. He's the one that does all the big zombie things. He's directing episodes of The Walking Dead, and he's doing both shows. He's doing Fear, and he's doing the regular Walking Dead. I think they didn't plan out Season 1 for Fear that well. I think they didn't really consider, okay, he's got to go and do his thing with Walking Dead. They got to have a zombie herd, No Way Out come through. So who do we got for Fear? I don't think they actually have somebody there that Greg Nicotero is teaching that can go off and work on Fear 100%, and that's why you see almost no zombies. Now that's just a hypothesis of mine. That's just a fan theory that I think they didn't have the resources there to go as big as they obviously could have gone. Now that said, if I have to choose, I'm happy with them putting more effort into the original Walking Dead than Fear if you have to go between them. But I was hoping they would be able to get a new team on with Fear, independent of Greg Nicotero, to do the zombies, to do the effects. And so far from what we've seen, I think it's pretty easy to conclude that they don't really have much of a team for that. It's not like the regular Walking Dead where they have a huge team with Greg Nicotero and they'll create this huge No Way Out like we've seen in the trailers, even some of the more recent trailers. huge amounts of zombies and all this craziness, all this stuff. It seems like Fear doesn't have that. At least if they do, they're not using them at all, because we have had hardly any zombies. Maybe the biggest zombie episode would be like episode maybe 2 or 3, something like that, depending on how you look at it. 4 and 5, yeah, really. Yeah, so that's the first one. So I agree. We do need to see those things. We need to see the breakdown of civilization. We need to see the government collapse. We need to see all this stuff. We're seeing a bit in the military, which is good in terms of them bringing that in. That's a little part, but there's just a lot of things. The scale. The problem is the scale. It's too micro on our characters, and it's time skipping a lot of the stuff that we would have liked to have seen. That would have been really, really cool just to kind of see play out. Their next one. The main character is really boring and stupid. They have a picture of Travis. So he seems strong in the beginning. Like the first episode, like he thinks this stuff is going on with Nick, so he gets in there and and he seems pretty strong. Like he's going to go in there and find out what's going down, what's going on, right? But that's in regular, world. Now that they're in kind of zombie apocalypse mode, or it's started, he isn't able to kill the one zombie. He's not able to do that yet. I kind of understand it. He's like a history teacher, this kind of thing. He's a nice guy. He's caring. He's ethical. He's moral. He's a good person. So that might be difficult for him to do. So I kind of understand that. I think they're pointing out with him that that's a little bit inconsistent between the first episode and that. And I may have to agree with you a little bit. But hey, it might take a little while for him to kind of fill in or get ready with what he's going to have to do and realize that he's going to have to get over that eventually. So we should see that soon. There's too much fluff even in a plodding, slow-paced show. The problem with it is they only have 6 episodes. So with 6 episodes, you got to bring it, man. You got to have 6 awesome episodes. There is no time to have slow, dilly-dally stuff because that time is going to go by and your 6 episodes are done and you haven't grabbed your audience. And from what I saw from the views for each episode, first it started off over 10 million, then 8, then it was 6. And I think, I haven't seen this week, but I'm sure it's probably even lower than that at this time, which is unfortunate. Because then when the second season comes back, we may be looking at, okay, is the show going to get a 3rd season? Is it going to be able to go forward? What's going to happen? There's not much fear here. Well, yeah, it's true, but that goes along with the scale, that there's not much fear because there's almost no zombies. They're really not showing us much. When The Walking Dead comes back on, the gap between the two shows will be even more apparent. I think that's obvious already. Like I said, we're watchers, we're viewers, so we know that already. It's pretty obvious, and it's not just the zombies. It just seems like to me, and this is what Jess said too, she's like, they're just not putting as much effort into this show as they are in the original. And I would have to agree with that. I think that's obvious. If you look at 16 episodes with the way The Walking Dead is done, look at season 5, 16 episodes like that versus these 6 episodes. It's pretty obvious to me that those 16, I would rather have 6 episodes of the regular Walking Dead than 6 episodes of Fear right now with the way it's going right now. Now, I don't mean to say in this video that the show is terrible. It's not terrible. But with regards to it being a disappointment, people being let down, the thing is that we have certain expectations, and even though most of us, even me, I did not expect it to be as good as the original Walking Dead, I still expected it to be close, somewhere around the same scale, or for me to be able to enjoy it almost as much. Maybe not quite, because it doesn't have the characters, but something that could be close to it. And so far, at the beginning, I was like, give it some time. It's only the first episode. Give it a few episodes. Second episode, good. Third episode, okay, that was great. Fourth episode, okay, all right. Where are we going with it? Fifth episode, all right, we're not sure. Wait a minute, we only have 1 episode left of the season and it's over. So that's a disappointing thing, is that they really did it kind of like a regular slow-paced show speed for a 6-episode season. So that's the problem. So I'm a little bit disappointed, but I still enjoy the show. Some people were saying in the comments, well, if you don't like it, don't watch it at all. And unfortunately, a lot of people aren't. And I can see that. Like with regards to my reviews from the beginning episode, the first episode got like 120 or something like that, 1,000 viewers. Last week's episode 5, I think it was like 10, 12,000 viewers for the review. People are not that interested in talking about it. People are not that interested in hearing a review on it right now because they're not buzzing about it. They're just like, okay, let's get the regular Walking Dead going. Yeah, so now one thing about Bloody Jacob, what he said, like, I don't think it's the majority of people. I think most people are like me. We're enjoying the show, we like the show, but we obviously can tell that they really could do a lot more with it, and we were expecting it to be a little bit, bigger than it is in terms of scale. But that said, they only had so much time to get it done. They had to get it done before The Walking Dead aired. And this is the first season. So the second season should have a lot more episodes, 15 episodes. At this pacing, 15 episodes is a lot more enjoyable than just 6 because you're not getting into the story that much. If you look at the beginning of the show and where we're at right now, we haven't really covered that much ground. We've covered some, but we haven't covered that much in terms of, I want to say, getting to see the outbreak itself. We've had a few like the riot and that kind of stuff, which was exciting to see, but we never really got to see the actual, outbreak part itself, which is a bit unfortunate. It almost feels like we were able to see kind of more of that in the original Walking Dead's first season. Even though Rick had woken up in it, we started to see Atlanta with, all the zombies everywhere and stuff like that. So, yeah, so for him, Bloody Jacob, part of the problem was the slow pace, like Forbes said too, but also the characters that he doesn't find that much attachment to the characters so far. I like the characters for the most part. I think that Madison's a great character. I like Nick. I think he's really interesting. Elisa's okay. Chris he's okay. I don't know what they're doing with those two, if they're going to have a relationship or something. That's so weird. Travis, I like Travis. I do. But yeah, we'll have to see the transformation from him, if he's going to survive, if he's going to make it, which at this pacing, it seems like, yeah, he probably will now. I don't think they're going to kill him off in the finale. The good man, I think, refers to Daniel, who he's an interesting character. He's a character that, I couldn't really get behind what he was doing last episode, torturing and stuff. But he is definitely darker and somebody who's going to be able to adapt pretty quickly, it seems like. So, yeah, so I get everybody's, and people are on all different sides of this one. There's some people that they don't like it at all, to the point where they're not even watching it. They've dropped it already because they just see it as filler waiting for the regular Walking Dead. There's people who are like me that enjoy it, but do feel like they were expecting a little bit more. And then, there's people that just they love it because they love the drama, they love the characters, they love that style of storytelling, and they feel like, and I've seen this in comments too, they're saying that the regular Walking Dead is more cartoonish, or is more like comic booky, where you have characters that are kind of more stereotypical, but in Fear the Walking Dead you have characters that are more realistic to the real world, high school teachers and stuff like this, and they're not really your superhero type character where they're going to come in right away and start killing a whole bunch of zombies and stuff. That kind of thing, like a cop or something like we see in the regular Walking Dead, the original. So there's people all over the place with Fear. It's not just one, and where's the majority at? I don't know. I think the majority is probably where I'm at, where they're enjoying it, but they're not like really into it. Well, I'm pretty into it, but they're maybe not as into it as I am. That's where most people are. But I think most people are a little bit disappointed with it because they were hoping for a little bit more. But, that's the first season. So we'll see how the finale ends up. We'll see what they do with season 2, and we'll see how good it ends up being, and whether or not the show lasts for a long time. Because if this many people are dropping every episode, more than I expected, after the first episode, you can expect it, after the second or third, maybe a little bit, but they have systematically, been dropping viewers quite a bit. So we'll see how the finale ends up. I hope it's a good finale. I hope it finishes strong, because I would really like to see Fear do well for a long time. And, I don't want to sound like I hate the show. I don't hate the show. I actually really like the show a lot. But it's just that when you have the title of Walking Dead, you expect a certain kind of, you have expectations. And even though you try to control those expectations, you still can get a little bit disappointed sometimes because, maybe you expected it to, your expectations weren't that high as the original Walking Dead, but yet you still felt like it should be somewhere close, and you feel more like it's, not quite there, just a little bit under. So I'm slightly just a little bit disappointed with it, but we'll see how the finale ends up. And really, the original Walking Dead comes back the next week, so that's it. We'll be into that for a while, and by the time that ends, maybe they'll have some new Fear for us in another month or two. And, it's not bad. It's kind of a tide over, but yeah, I definitely I hope for the second season they can do bigger scale stuff. I hope they can put a little bit more budget into it. I hope it's not AMC just kind of being cheap, because I'm telling you, Z Nation is a show with hardly any budget on sci-fi, and they do some big stuff, man. They do some really big, cool stuff, and it just surprises me. It's like, how can AMC not do some bigger stuff when you have networks like Sci-Fi that are able to do pretty big stuff episode to episode with Z Nation. And yeah, some of it might look a little bit silly, but majority of it's pretty damn good. It looks pretty good. So yeah, anyway, but let me know what you guys think. Write your comments below, and let me know where you're at with fear. And there's no right or wrong here. Everybody's kind of at a different spot with it, I think. So write your comments below. I want to hear where the majority lies. Are you disappointed with it? Are you slightly? Are you major disappointed? Or are you happy with it? Or even to the point where you're surprised by it because you didn't think it would be as good as you think it is? Yeah. So those are my thoughts on it. Write your comments below, guys. If you like the video, please thumb it up below. And remember, you don't have to agree with me. You can still thumb it up if you don't agree with me and you feel like it's the best, but even better than The Walking Dead. I saw a few of those, and I didn't think I would. But you can still thumb up the video even if you don't agree with me. That's fine. And everybody's got a different viewpoint on it. So I want to hear where the consensus kind of lies, where you guys lie in this one. So thumb it up if you like the video. Please share, please favorite, and if you're new and you want to subscribe, you can subscribe at the bottom left. That's it for this video. I'll see you guys again real soon. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace.